What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It is time to review roster update number 8. And I know it's not quite to the level that we all wanted, but I don't want to set a negative tone here. There's still some big things that came through. And as always, when we don't get what we wanted, we buy the dip, okay? We stock up on the guys that we still believe in, and we profit in 2 weeks, okay? There's still some profit to be had this week, though, so keep your chin up. Let's go through it and take a look at where we're at with everything. I will say, though, this was the nooching this week. Everyone got nooched, which, if you don't know the terminology, it's just when they get a zero here because something went up but something went down, so they stayed where they were. Neutral, aka nooched. And you're going to see that a lot from folks. So if that word bothers you, nooched, you're going to hear nooched a lot. So if you don't like hearing nooched, you're going to get nooched out of here because I'm going to be saying nooched all the time. Hashtag nooched. Anyway, let's start with Garrett Coley's down. Walker Buehler, Darvish, Ohtani, Musgrove, and Morton all nooched. Peralta and Means go up. Now, who do we need to focus on here? This one, big one. We thought Musgrove was going. I had him at an 85 on my sheet. I think the market was there. The community was excited. Really thought Musgrove was going to get it. I got to be honest, I'm surprised here. It's interesting that a -1 in the BB9 was enough to hold it back. Now, actually, we don't even know if that's the case. We don't know that if you take that BB9 -1, would he have gone 85? And then they put that in there to kind of mitigate it. I don't know, but it seems like it was very, very close. And we'd been waiting for a good update period from Musgrove because it had been a while. He'd been like 2 good starts, 1 bad one, and the bad one was enough to kind of negate everything. Or 1 good start, 1 mediocre start. He finally had a period where things popped off, and I really thought it was a slam dunk. This was probably my biggest, well, besides Springer, this was probably my second biggest diamond lock, and I missed. So, you know, I'm holding. I'm going to sit tight with Musgrove. I believe in him still. Unless they have some sort of thing where they're going to start limiting his innings, which I don't believe that they can based on the situation that they have where they're chasing the Giants and Dodgers. I think we'll still eventually get there. Hold tight with Musgrove. Now, our boy John Means, he means business, and he's back, ready to go. Is he a diamond candidate? He's 2 points away. The bottom line, yes, once you're 2 points away, you're in the diamond realm. How strong of a candidate is he, though? Not very until, or unless, I should say, the strikeouts get going, which they have not, and that's been the big issue. We saw last year in the 2-month sample that he kind of spiked his Ks up a bit, but even that was an 8.7 K9, which just isn't that great these days. You got to be at least over a strikeout per inning to really start moving the needle. That's kind of been the holdback here for John Means. Since returning from the IL, he has 18 strikeouts in 27 innings. That's just not getting it done. So until you see the strikeouts turn, do not invest in John Means as a diamond. Charlie Morton gets nooched with a little boost there. Giolito nooched. Luis Garcia, we got this one. Now, this was a big hit, so this is what I'm saying. I know we're upset at the grand scheme of things because a few key guys that we were really excited about didn't come through, but don't sleep on what did come through. Remember, this was like a do-or-die situation. We've been playing kind of chicken with the Astros here because I still firmly believe that they're going to take him out of the rotation at some point for Christian Javier, not because he sucks. In fact, quite the opposite. He's amazing, but to protect his innings so that he still has some gas in the tank in October. But what I was concerned about was if they put him to a 79, what if they make the move this week or the week after before the next update? And then he has to move to RP where he would automatically lose a few points. So I was scared. This one came through. This was a big hit. Very excited about this one. Tyler Mahle, however, is a straight kick in the dong. There's no other way to put it. This was one of my big locks as well. So, you know, another fat L for your boy. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say here. I really thought we were keyed in with what we needed to see from him, which was a cutting of the walks. And in his last 18 innings, he has a 1.5 walk rate. Now, I grant that his full season walk rate is still 3.3, but that's not worth a low 60s number. I'm kind of surprised on that. We know what we need to keep watching from him. He continues to pitch well. He'll have a little dud every once in a while, like the 5-earned run outing against Milwaukee where he still had 8 strikeouts. Minnesota got to him for 4 runs in 5 innings, but he still had 5 strikeouts, only 2 walks. So, you know, he's been mostly good all year. And so I really think that I'm not going anywhere on Molly. I mean, if you know, I have like 200 of them. So I kind of can't go anywhere, to be quite honest. I'm going to need to let Charlotte out or else she's going to cry this entire time. So give me a moment. Max Fried, Marquez, Tyon. These are all fine to me. None of these were going gold as far as I was concerned anyway. I think I had all three at 79 on my sheet. Maybe not Fried. No, I did. So this works for me. 1 second. That all checks out as far as I'm concerned, but these are our next golds. The only problem is what happened to Marquez yesterday. He got walloped by the Giants. It wasn't even at home. Usually I preach caution with you guys as far as investing in Marquez because of his home park and how it can create a dud at any moment. The Giants can create a dud at any moment too, man. That offense is unbelievable. And they don't have like a bunch of star names. In fact, they have like old stars. Longo before he got hurt, Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey, like those were all like star level guys, superstar level guys in terms of Longo and Posey in their day. They had a rebirth. They just find guys, they put it together, they whooped his ass. So that's really going to hurt for the next update period because he's going to have to be pretty much flawless to that point. So be careful with Marquez. I cannot stress that enough. Fried and Tyon, however, are more intriguing to me. Fried especially, Tyon at least somewhat. I do worry about his division though too because the AL East is brutal. Alec Manoa gets a nice +2 here, and you see the break and control gets updated. That's because they boosted his slider. We had noticed that his slider break was very low. Like it was in the 50s. And where I really noticed it was on his Tops Now card. And I was like, that's really surprising because his slider's his best pitch. Sent over a little note. SDS, to their continued credit, is at least open to hearing things from the community when we see something. So we let them know. They fixed it on the Tops Now card on Tuesday. They fixed it on his live series card here. In addition to that, he got some boosts, and now he's sitting at a gold potential. This is a very big hold for gold here because another great moment of news that came out was they're not going to innings limit him. They need him. They know that they're only making the playoffs with Manoa doing his thing every fifth day. So that's big for both fantasy purposes and MLB The Show purposes, which is basically another way of playing fantasy if you really want to think about it that way. So he's a hold for gold. Feel free to start investing in Alec Manoa if you haven't already, but hopefully you already were because the price is about to go up. Tywin Walker gets nooched, even though he actually takes a hit, but it wasn't enough to make him lose anything. He's been wobbly of late. I don't really see hold for gold with him. Alcantara, until his strikeouts make a substantial move, I'm not really looking at him as a hold for gold either. I don't know, man. Everything was a lot calmer this time. Now, I only had Sean Manaea +1 to 79, so this is fine. This doesn't bother me. My only thing is, I'm wondering what he really needs to do with his strikeouts to get a more substantive boost. Because I feel like the +2 and then the I think it was like +5 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I feel like he's got a 10.0 rate for the year. And that's really good. I feel like that's better than a 60. And then recently, if you kind of isolate his last X number of games, I'll go over his last 8 here, I think. Yeah, last 9. He has 65 strikeouts and 47 in the third innings. That's a 12.4 mark. So I feel like they're trending upward. I'm surprised he's still just a 60, but that's all right. Keep an eye on Manaea, though. He is in the hold for gold realm for sure. I've been pretty steadfast that despite how well Wainwright's pitching this year, I just don't really see gold. He's slowly changing my mind a little bit. I still wouldn't invest in him, though, y'all. He doesn't miss bats all that much. He does limit walks very well, and his hit rate's been pretty strong this year. But I think he's kind of a quintessential silver. He is a 78, 79 at his best right now. He's been great this year. Hats off to him. I would be careful investing for gold. Gilbert, I do worry about innings limit. That's my biggest concern with him. I would invest in Manoa over Gilbert for that exact reason, but he has been pitching very well. He is at least in the hold for gold stadium, but he's probably in the upper deck, whereas Manoa is right behind the plate for that analogy there. Ryu, McCullers, and Pineda all go down 1. McCullers gets hit. We were talking about McCullers as a potential gold two updates ago. back on update number 7. So I guess one update ago, whatever. If you count 8 as one and 7 as another, whatever. But 3 weeks ago, we were talking about that. Since then, he's kind of like stabilized a little bit, where he's been okay. He loses one here because of his hits and his walk rate. He's super volatile is the problem. I didn't have him for an upgrade this week, so we're fine. But I would be careful investing too heavily in McCullers. I think I have a few shares, I should say. That's all I'm going to hold on him. I'm not going to add more to my McCullers shares. Alzolay gets nooched. I wouldn't trust any Cubs this year just because that's a weird team right now. They're barely a major league team. This one surprises me. Now, we'll take this big boost here. I think the walk rate is what did it, and the fact that he didn't get any stamina boost, although he probably deserves a little bit into like the 50s because he is pitching 80 pitches per start over his last 3. I would have thought that if he got the position change that he was going to go gold, because usually getting your position from RP to SP gives you like 4 or 5 points. Well, it probably gave him 4 points. Well, actually, I don't know, because again, he didn't get any stamina. And are we to believe that the hit 9, K9, and clutch boosts were completely mitigated by the BB9 dip? I don't know. Anyway, he does get +3. I'm still in on him as a hold for gold because he is showing out quite nicely as a starter. And he's finally kind of getting to the 4-inning mark. I think next time he can get to 5. And eventually, the way they're stretching him out, he could be a 5 to 6 inning guy. And he's pitching very well. The walks are a little bit of an issue. As you can see, he got the -8 there. But the Ks are starting to bump up too, so they might have to start to improve that soon. So hold on Ranger Suarez. I'm not going anywhere with him. Dylan Cease gets +2. I still believe Kopech's going to take his job the same way I believe Christian Javier is going to take Luis Garcia's. Again, not because of talent, but because of innings limits. -1 for Gray, +1 for Frankie. Frankie's been pitching very well. He's definitely a hold for gold. He is still 3 points away, though. I would have been more comfortable. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious when I say this. I would have been happier if he went to 78. No shit, Paul. But obviously, I would feel better if he was only 2 points away. He might still be 2 updates away unless he just goes off. We need to see the hits and the Ks really, really taking off. Hit suppression and strikeout total really need to bounce high for him to get the 3 points next time. Otherwise, we're probably waiting 2 times with Montas. Gibson's been actually pitching pretty well with Philadelphia, but the skills haven't been there. And that's why ERA does not matter specifically for updates, because you can have a great ERA and shit skills, or you can have a shit ERA and good skills, kind of like Jameson Taillon did, at least until recently. I think his ERA is it's finally under 4, but for most of the year, he was in like the mid-4s, but had good skills. So it can go both ways. Gomber, I mean, if I'm not going to invest in Marquez that heavily because of Colorado, I'm certainly not going to invest in Gomber for the same reason. He's been pitching well. I will give him credit for how well he's pitched this year, but I just don't trust Colorado. Odorizzi, Plesac go down. Skubal up 2, back to not back, but into silver, which is nice. Fromber gets hit. He's really fallen off. You see the whip is up to 133. The hold for gold realm with Fromber is no longer. I would move off of that completely. Miley's one of those guys who the ERA disconnect is a perfect encapsulation of why you don't just look at ERA and say, oh, he should be gold. Because he's pitching like a gold pitcher in terms of a 3 ERA, 124 whip. But he couldn't strike me out. He limits hits nicely, but not over the top. And walk suppression is his only like real skill. See, now this is what I'm talking about with the position change. So how did Rangers Suarez, I'm still confused on Ranger Suarez. That -8 is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, I think, because he should have gotten more for moving to SP and getting 3 boosts. But anyway, Houck goes from relief to starter, gets a big boost in his overall points +7 because he also gets hit, K, and walks. He loses a little stamina and still gets the big boost. That tells me that Ranger Suarez, that -8, is really, really hitting him. By the way, I do like Houck. I actually think that there's a fringe gold upside here. He's been pitching remarkably well. They've been yoinking him back and forth between AAA and the majors. That's just roster manipulation there so that when they don't need him as a starter, they can have somebody else on the team because he has options. So that's just a utilization of his option year. I still believe that they need him if they're going to make the playoffs, even though I don't have them making the playoffs this year. Shane McClanahan finally goes silver. He deserves it. He's been awesome this year. I don't know how the Rays are going to treat him with his innings, so I would be careful investing too heavily for gold because 4 points is still a big boost away. Zach Gallen gets nooched. Patino goes up 1 to silver. Same thing, but even a higher degree of uncertainty than McClanahan in terms of innings and how the Rays are going to use him. So I would not invest in Patino. I'll put a little something in McClanahan, not Patino though. Maeda -1. Remember when he was a diamond? That was cute. Eduardo nooched. Freaking Castillo, man. He was trending so well. I thought he was going to get all the way back to gold this year, and he still might. But he reset himself quite a bit with that last outing where he just got absolutely pummeled. Nooched for Mats and Zach Thompson. Logan Webb +3. Logan Webb's got to be silver soon. He might already belong there at this point, to be quite honest. I think I had him going up. Let me see. What did I have for Webb? I had Webb going up to 73, so I had the +3 here. +5 would have been a lot. I admit that. So maybe he doesn't need to be silver just yet. But if he keeps pitching like he has been, he had another good outing last night, he'll be silver next time. So if you like to invest in bronze is going to silver, Logan Webb is a premier save for silver. Kyle Muller, pitching very well for the Braves. They need him. They really do. He could be a save for silver as well. Walden's just a position change. This is what I mean. Usually you get 4 points off that, and he didn't get, and Suarez only got 3 total points. I'm still mad. Allard nooched. Yarbrough minor down. Tyler McGill. Luis Heel gets a huge upgrade. He's been pitching very well. I like these micro investing guys, the commons that are single-digit stubs. You get them. Bronzes have been super high in the market, so he could be in triple digits already, and then you could be making a ton of stubs if you bought a bunch at like 8 stubs. Price down 1, Lauer +6. That's position change only. Voth position change. Widener, Quantrill. You know, I thought Quantrill would get a little bit more love, but I guess there is that little disconnect between his ERA performance and his raw skills. So that's why he only gets the +1 here. I had him for +3. If he keeps pitching well, he'll eventually matriculate up to a silver, I think. But we'll see. He could stand to get some more strikeouts. It's a pretty bad rate. I will grant that for sure. Weathers and Hauser -1. He gets +5 just on, again, I know I'm banging the same drum here over and over and over, but damn, that -8 is doing a lot. I wonder if the stamina being so low hurts him. Even though they didn't move his stamina, if they look at if they look at a starter and they say 31 stamina is pretty low, he can only get X number of points boosted by moving the SP. I don't know. Like I said, they probably should have upped it to at least the high 40s, if not the low 50s, because he is at about 80 pitches now. He really is getting stretched out quite nicely. But I'll stop on the Ranger Suarez thing. I won't mention him again the rest of the stream. He's a hold for gold. Go invest. That's all. That's it. Throw away the key on that. Ross Stripling. If he gets this for this move, what about Ranger? No, I'm kidding. Stupid joke. But yeah, +7 for him getting back from SP to from RP to SP. Bailey Ober gets a little boost. Eli Morgan's been pitching well. Now he got hit up yesterday or the day before a little bit, but he'd been trending nicely, so he gets a little love here. I had him going to 70, so I nailed it. Genius. Not really, but could he get silver? I don't know. He can't really seem to avoid the implosion start, so I wouldn't really plan for that. You might be able to get him to like a 73, 74 if he continues to pitch well. Don't worry. I'll keep you posted if things really turn. He can miss bats very well. He doesn't walk many guys, but he allows a lot of homers, and he can be very hittable at times. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings against Oakland, snapping a run of 5 really good starts. So we'll see if he gets back on track. He's someone to keep an eye on. Yes, Stripling did hit the IL, unfortunately. Nobody else here that's really jumping out as, man, how the mighty have fallen. How tough is that? Josiah Gray was a big one. Another micro investing guy. If you were getting in on him at bargain basement stubs, I had him going up to 67. He actually goes up to 68. There actually is an outside shot at silver. I know it's a long way out still. I fully grant that. But it's not impossible because he misses bats really well. He's a really exciting young pitcher. Basically, if they let him go the rest of the year and just he gets to start every 5th day kind of unchallenged, then I think he could actually get to silver. I don't think you necessarily need to invest in it right now, though. Raylo gets a position switch. Lizardo. Yo, Spider Neck +4. Let's go. He gets boosted. I still stand firm that, you know, I love that he has a sub-4 ERA and he's actually done some good things for the Reds, but his stuff, it's not that good. It's not that good. I did have him going to 66, though. Spencer Howard up, Kranek, Chichi, nobody else here. Okay, new guys. I truly do not know any of these 3 guys, so I apologize to them. Maybe I'll learn them. Relievers, Graveman, +2 to 84. He's on the cusp now. He's obviously on the diamond watch. Keep a close eye. You should probably already be invested in him at least somewhat, because I imagine his price will be in like the 2,500 plus range at this point. Our boy Gallegos, man, he was so close that we could taste it. He gets pummeled in back-to-back outings, kind of resets the cycle, and now I'm kind of off of him, to be honest. Colin Mckee gets there. Let's go. I wasn't sure if he was going to get there this week because he had just returned from the IL. I think this is a little bit of a makeup. We had him going gold. Actually, no, I think I had him to a 79. Hang on. I had him going 76 to 78 last update. And then this one, I don't even think I had him on the sheet because he had just returned from the IL. I think they used this to catch up for where he was for the full season, because he hasn't pitched that much since coming off the IL. He's been great all year, though. I fully back this. I was invested in McHugh from earlier, and so I'm glad that this one came through. Yeah, he only pitched twice since the injury, and only one of them counted for the update because the other one was yesterday. So, you know, I'm sorry I didn't have him on the list, but he only pitched once since the last roster update. I didn't know that they were going to do a makeup call. But this is why you got to stay invested in guys once they are on a previous update, and I have them as a hold for gold, because you never know. Sometimes they get a little catch up like this. Karinchak goes down. Paul Sewald gets there. Let's go. This is another big one that we were keyed in on. By the time I did my roster update video on Wednesday, he was still under like 400. I think even under 350. So there was a ton of wiggle room on Sewald. Hopefully you got in on this one. This one was a pretty damn near lock. He was definitely set up to go gold here, and he does indeed get there. Rich Rod gets nooched. Kittredge gets +2. Kittredge could go gold this year. It's not impossible. My only concern is he doesn't miss a ton of bats, but the hits and the walks are really good. So there's still a lot to like here with Kittredge. I would not be surprised if he gets there by season's end. Stay invested in him if you are already, and get on board if you haven't gotten any shares yet, because I think Kittredge has a real opportunity to end the season in gold. And you see Kittredge at 78, you see McHugh at 81 here. You start to understand how they were able to trade Diego Castillo and not really miss a beat, because I remember when they traded him, everyone was like, why did they just trade their best reliever? And that was a fair question, because he had been. But also Nick Anderson's working his way back from the IL, and so they're going to end up with a crowded bullpen very soon here. Trevor May -1. I'm not fully getting off the hold for gold with him. I think there's at least a possibility. Obviously, he has to turn it around from where he's at right now. He lost one mainly because of his -4 in walk rate, but the strikeouts have been great. The hit rate's been all right. The walk rate's been awesome for most of the year until very recently. So I think May is still in the realm of hold for gold. Pagan -1. Chafin +2 into silver. Now, he's been pitching very well with his new ball club. He's a recent Oakland A coming over from the Cubs. I'm hemming and hawing here because I'm like, could he get to gold? Maybe. The thing of it is, he'd have to keep pitching pretty much exactly how he's been as an Oakland A. In 6 2/3, he has 8 strikeouts, 3 hits allowed, and no walks. I'm not saying he has to walk nobody the rest of the year, but he has to have an excellent walk rate. He has to keep the strikeout rate, at 10 or more per 9, and then keep the hits in check, because he needs a lot of love on Ks and walks to really get to gold, because he's 4 points away. So I would not go crazy investing in Chafin, but keep him on your watch list. And if you see that he continues to put up good outing after good outing, getting strikeouts, then you can start to invest. But for now, he's just a watch list guy. Trinan goes up 1. He gets some love. Looks like he got some love on a new pitch perhaps as well, with the velo being up and the control being up. So we can take a look at that later. My boy Javier loses 1. That's all right. When he goes to starter, he's going to become an insta gold. Maybe not insta, but he could be gold pretty quickly once he goes to starter because of the position change and because he's a good pitcher. Stanek loses 1. Hand down 1. Whistler +2. There's another Ray who's pitching well. They picked him up off the scrap heap too. Relievers are so funky, man, and this is why you have to be careful with reliever samples, because he had the breakout year last year with the Twins, and it was obviously a year. It was 2 months. And then he goes to the Giants, and you're thinking, well, that's another team that's really good with pitching, and they have a good stadium. He'll kill it out there. He puts up a 6.05 ERA in 19 1/3 innings. I think they DFA'd him. I'm checking real quick. No, it was they might have DFA'd him and then traded him, but either way, it was a tiny trade. Rays pick him up. He has a 2.05 ERA with them in 26 1/3 innings. He completely flipped. Whatever it was with the Giants, it looked like his command was just a little bit off. He walked a few more guys. He gave up 4 home runs when he gave up 4 home runs in 19 innings. He gave up 2 all of last year. So he's already back on track. And he is a save for silver, as is Steck and Ryder. They're both pitching remarkably well. Boxberger, man, mark my words. We're going to get the Brad Boxberger in one of the BR program silver packs. It just makes too much sense. He's pitching really well again. He's kind of back in the baseball consciousness, pitching very well. He pitched well last year for the Marlins as well, after a few years of being a dud. But then that Tampa Bay silver card is a monster, and I think they should put it in the silver pack. I think they will, I should say. Pierce Johnson could definitely go silver. So could Harleen Garcia. Pedro Baez gets nooched. Lucas Litke, he could go silver. He's pitching well. I don't know why I was tepid on that. Yeah, he definitely could. Matzik and Cisnero, man, his numbers are better than I thought. If you'd asked me as a Tigers fan to guess his numbers, I would have said a 3.30 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. But he's been better than I'm giving him credit for. I wouldn't really hold for silver though. They better have given him his blue glove. If he doesn't have his blue glove, then I might be done with this game. I might be. Because he hasn't had his blue glove all year, and it shows just a fundamental lack of caring about your game. SDS, if that is your real name. Unbelievable that Genesis Cabrera still doesn't have his blue glove. I'm livid. I'm absolutely livid. Bender gets a big boost. This is a guy that we were invested in all the way back when he was common. So if you held those common shares, they keep going up. He was trending at 250. So if you bought those at single digits and you put in the sell orders as a bronze, you're getting a big payout. And I speak from experience there because I've been doing exactly that. I had over 100 as a common, and I've just been slowly selling off 10, 15 at a time, making huge profits on him. Petit goes down. Miza goes up too, but he hit the IL. Brent, Maiton, Duffy, and Smith get smashed. Well, Smith was a position change. He also hasn't been pitching well, so he deserved that, even though it was just position change. See if there's anybody here of real note. I don't think so. Bigford has been pretty interesting. Former former first round pick, excuse me. First round pick. That has been a reclamation project for the Dodgers. They've fixed him and figured out how to get him going. He got some fringe silver upside, even though he's still 7 points away. He's been pitching that well this year that I would at least keep him on the radar. Anybody else here? Not really. Simber is a BR favorite because of his funk. Carlos Hernandez. Okay. This does not make sense to me. And I've said this before and I didn't follow up, so I do need to follow up with SDS to kind of figure out what's what. Why was Carlos Hernandez position changed to SP or to RP when he's been starting? He just started starting. That's a weird sentence, but he moved to the rotation since the All-Star break. He has 5 outings; they're all starts. So why would you now move him off of that? That's peculiar to me. So he needs to be moved back to SP, and then he'll go to bronze for sure. So again, if you like micro investments, he's going to be a common who should be dirt cheap, and he will go bronze next time just by moving to SP. Not to mention the fact that he's pitching very well. As a starter, Carlos Hernandez has 21 strikeouts in 24 and a third innings, under a strikeout per inning, so that's not off the charts. But he has I got to do the math. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. A 107 whip. And again, we know ERA is not reflected in the card, but just to highlight how well he's pitching, he has a 3.33 ERA in that time as well. But the 107 whip definitely matters. And the fact is that if he can get those walks in check, then we could see like a substantial boost. But for now, he should be a bronze next update just by moving back to SP. Nobody else here really jumping out. Jarrell Cotton, man, if you've been with me for a long time, listen to my pod years ago, you know I love Jarrell Cotton. When he broke out with Oakland there, he had a good finish to the season that looked like it could be the beginning of something. It was not, but I still root for him a lot. Maybe he'll find something with Texas because they got nothing but opportunity for him there, considering that they're a bottom team now. Hendricks goes to an 89. He continues to dominate. He did give up a couple of homers yesterday, but they came back and won it. That Field of Dreams game was amazing. -1 for Barnesy, +1 for Iglesias. He is on Diamond Watch now. Absolutely. So I know some of you have already been investing in him. Make sure you're staying invested. I don't know where his price is right now, so I don't want to say get in if you haven't already, because I just don't know where his price is. McGee goes gold. The market was on that one. That was kind of a lock. Diaz has to come down. There was a period, like a month or so ago, maybe a little longer, like 6 weeks, where he was on Diamond Watch. Now all of a sudden he's back down to silver. He could get back to gold by the end of the year, though. Don't be surprised if he spikes back up and then all of a sudden we're talking gold for him. Same with Jansen. I wouldn't invest in either of them right now, but we'll keep a close eye on them. David Bednar, the new closer for the Pirates, gets +3. He's been having a hell of a season. He could be on Gold Watch. He is on Gold Watch. He could definitely get there by season's end. I would definitely take a look at him, see where his price is at. It should be pretty cheap. Will Smith -2, definitely deserved. Reyes gets nooched. You guys know that I have not been on him as a potential gold at all this year because of that walk rate. He's never going to overcome that walk rate and get gold. There's just no chance. Jordan Romano gets +1, moves over to the CP role, and gets into silver. He's on Gold Watch too. He needs to stay healthy. If he can just stay healthy the rest of the year, I truly believe he can get the 5 points he needs for gold. Loizaga gets a position change. I still think he can get back to silver too. I'm staying invested in him. Melanson down. Now this is another one where the ERA, people see it and they're like, why isn't Melanson gold? He has 34 saves and a 2.19 ERA. Where is any of that on the card? What should be upgraded for his save count? Like, I know I'm picking on some doofuses, but I'm just like, where's the disconnect here? Why do you think that saves matters for a skills-based card? Class A, I get it, okay? Because I didn't even have him going silver. I had him going to a 74. He's just better in real life than he is in MLB The Show because he does not miss a ton of bats. He does not suppress walks at an excellent rate. Like, he's okay. Probably better than a 56, right? What's his walks per 9? Yeah, 2.3. That should be higher, actually. That's why I had him going 74, because I thought he'd stifled walks well enough to at least be knocking on the door for silver. But when you watch Class A pitch, if you just watch him pitch and you don't know his stats, and then somebody said, "Hey, what are Class A stats?" you would think that he has like 15 strikeouts per 9 because he's so nasty. But that's not the case at all. He has a 9.5 K9, which is like pretty mediocre as a starter, or as a reliever, excuse me. Hang on, there's a little disconnect here because I'm looking at his BREF page, Baseball Reference, and it says he has 15 walks, whereas they have 12 here in the same amount of innings. So I think the 15 is right. That's a 2.9 rate. I still think that's better than a 55, but they did boost it at least. So there is that. Again, the best you can get with Class A is silver, y'all. And that's not even a guarantee as we're seeing here. Because he just doesn't miss enough. He's a ground ball guy. He's a ground ball guy. Trevino gets +1. Givens and Kelly get nooched. Scrub gets nooched. He's not their closer. All right, position time. Catchers. Posey continues to have an excellent season. He gets nooched. Real Muto +1. Perez nooched. Sorry, Thuney. I told you. I just didn't quite see it yet, but you know, he needs, man, if he can just have a hot run against righties, he'd get diamond like instantly. Like 2 weeks where he just pummels righties and hits like 3 homers against them, and he's getting there. Real Muto's on the cusp too, by the way. I didn't say anything about him, but he's very close. Stay invested if you've got him. This one was a surprise. I wasn't on this one, y'all, and I apologize. This was a complete miss. I wasn't even paying attention to Yan Gomes. Did not see him getting a 3-point boost up here into gold. But if you were in, well done. Apparently Charvestments.com had him going gold, and she even nailed that he was going to hit an 82. That's sus to me because she's a dog. How did she know that? Molina, Stasi, and Vasquez all get nooched. Zanino, Big Z +2. Here's the thing. Can Big Z get to gold by just beating up on lefties? I don't think so, Tim. Until he ups that contact against righties, I just think he'll fall short. He's a quintessential silver as well. Nola gets nooched. I definitely thought there was more love for Nola. I guess I didn't incorporate the -10 that was coming against righty contact. That's really tough. That kind of offset the entire potential here. I did see the big boost coming against lefties, and then the vision and discipline get updated. So I guess I just was blind to his batting average against righties. My fault on that one. Haas gets nooched despite some love. So that, again, that tells me that he was like a 97 or a 77.5. He wasn't really like a full 78 yet. So now he moved all the way up to like 78.4. You know, he's like, I know it doesn't deal in decimals like that, but when you think about moving the stats up until it goes to the next overall number, he's got to be on the cusp of 79 right now. If he can find some love against righties, then he too could go gold. Be careful though, because we're talking about a guy who's hitting 225, most of it because he cannot hit righties, sub 300 OBP. I love Haas. I'm a Tigers fan. What he's been doing has been so fun, but I would not go all in on this for gold. What I would probably do, depending on where his price is, and what I did all week, I just flipped Haas's, like 5 at a time. Sell 5, buy 5, and you're clearing whatever stubs. I think it was like 1,200 every time I did that. And you can do something like that, and that's a way to make stubs off of him as opposed to waiting for him to go gold. Barnhart and Stevenson have been a wonderful tandem for the Reds. They go up in unison. I kind of like that they're kind of working their way up. I don't know if either can get gold because neither plays a full time. They really are working a full-on platoon, but it's fun to watch them both do well. Garver -1, doesn't matter for BR. You'll still use him even with a 27 contact against lefties, and he'll still crush. Astudillo +1, La Tortuga. Wilson Ramos is back, y'all, and he's hit the ground running for Cleveland. We'll see what he can do. Carson Kelly -2. His gold dreams are dead for now. Elias Diaz, I feel like he has 500 homers on the year because every time I look at him in fantasy and I do like last 2 weeks, he has like 4 homers in the last 2 weeks, which I don't understand how that's possible because then every 2 week period times 4, he should have like 8 billion homers. I know it's not exactly how it works. I'm just being flippant. He's having like a decent season power wise, but he's lucky to be silver. He's not going any higher. -1 for Barnesy, -2 for Perez. Pena, Severino, and Hedges get nooched. Nothing else really to see here in the catching realm. Any new catchers? Kellen DeGlan. Do not know who that is. Look at Vladdy all the way up to a 94. He got nooched, but more love to that power versus righty. Still very usable. Matty O gets nooched. I know a lot of y'all waiting for him to go 90. I don't know. I don't know if it's happening. -1 for Gurriel. I actually had him getting +1 or 2. What did I have? +2, and he gets -1. What the fuck did I miss? I guess I missed the vision and discipline being updated, and sometimes I don't focus on those enough because I never know if they're going to do like a full season catch-up on it or where it's at, but I don't feel bad about missing that because nobody was investing in Gurriel being like, Spore says he's going to 89. Let me get 50 shares of him. But I'm still like, that's kind of embarrassing that I had him going up 2 and he goes down 1. Votto gets nooched. It's going to be hard for him to get diamond, y'all. He's doing nothing against lefties. -1 for the Polar Bear. CJ Cron gets there. This was a late addition to my list. If you follow the list in the Discord, and big thanks to the Twitch chat for putting me on him, because I had missed him. Somebody brought him up. I was like, you know what? You are dead on. CJ Cron is absolutely a wonderful candidate, and he gets there. Rizzo +1, Goldie, Nooch, Josh Bell +1. Bell is at least on gold watch. I'm not really investing in him because he's been kind of, he's been all right this year. Your mileage may vary. You might want to get in, but I'm not really jumping in. I'd be more inclined to get back in on Hoskins just because he can have those hot streaks where he's just off the charts for 2 weeks at a time. So I would definitely hold him for gold over Bell personally. Ruff, man, if I told you at the beginning of the year that Darren Ruff could feasibly get gold in MLB The Show, you would have just laughed. Like, I don't even think you would have had a snarky thing to say because you'd have been laughing so hard because that would have made no sense. He's a 34-year-old journeyman who, like, whatever. Like, what are you talking about? Well, he's had 84 games this year, 13 homers, 940 OPS. Here's the key. Can he get to gold? Yes, it's at least possible. The tough part, though, is that Brandon Belt just came back, so playing time is drying up a little bit. He's probably in a short side platoon situation, meaning he's only playing against left-handers, which can be tough. So do not invest in Darren Ruff very heavily. I think you'll end up being disappointed unless an injury pops up. If somebody else gets hurt, then go ahead and jump in. Like if Belt gets hurt or one of the corner outfielders that opens up time for Ruff, then you can get in. But otherwise, I just think it's going to be tough to get him all the way there because of playing time at this point. This was probably his last big update unless he finds playing time and pops off once more. Speaking of Belt, he's returned from the IL and said, I'm healthy and ready to go. He's been tearing the cover off the ball. He is on a hold for gold watch for sure. Ryan Mountcastle has played himself into some gold potential with a +2 here. It's still 3 points away, though, so be careful. Do not go crazy. But you know Camden in the summer can go wild. So the next time they have a big homestand, keep an eye on Mountcastle. I know he's on the IL for concussion right now. Wait till he gets off of the IL for that as well, because you don't want to invest in somebody. You never know with concussions. It's a 7-day IL, but it can be much worse because we never know with concussions. -3 for Santana. He loses his gold. He has not been good for quite a while. Speaking of loses their gold, Voit does. I got to be honest, as a selfish BR player, I love this because he's going to pop up as a silver so much more often, and I'm going to draft him every time. Trash can goes +1, whatever. +3 for Connor Joe. He had that hot streak that got him the tops now. Whatever. I thought Tellez would get silver. I'm kind of surprised on this one. I think I had him going up to a 75. He only gets +1 to 74. I mean, he's playing really well. So if he continues to play this well, he'll get silver next time. I thought it would be this time. Seth Brown's interesting because he got +1 here. He could be, he is on silver watch because he's 1 point away. But he could get it next time because he's playing right field more with the Laureano suspension. He's back out in right field, and he's starting to hit a bit more. So if he can get back on track, he started off the season well, hit a big lull, and now he's kind of perking up again. I could see him getting silver. Andrew Vaughn, man, this has been one of my favorite players to watch all year. And some of y'all might be like, he has a 771 OPS. What gets you going about a 771 OPS? Well, sure, he's not playing like an all-star. But if you've watched a lot of White Sox games, whether you're a fan of a team in that division like I am, and so you happen to watch a bunch of their games, or if you just like to tune in because they're such an exciting team, which is another reason why I watch so many of their games. His maturation over the year has been so fun to watch. You've been able to watch a young player develop in the majors, month over month. And it's been really impressive to just watch him take better at-bats, to feel more comfortable. Don't forget, y'all, he learned a brand new position this year. They said, hey, your first baseman coming up, why don't you go play the outfield in the majors? That's tough, man. Like, yeah, he's a major leaguer, and he took on the challenge and everything. But we act like these guys are robots, and it's like, you will play left field, you will have no problems. Like, that's hard to learn a brand new position. So he's done that while trying to figure out major league hitting, and he's got himself up to a 114 OPS plus, 14% better than league average. I still think this guy has a super bright future. I guarantee you right now, unless there's like some sort of, extenuating circumstance where he's like not playing for whatever reason, when 22 comes out and he's a bronze or a low silver, he's going to be on my first investment list of the season as like a get him now because the sky is the limit with him. And, you know, like I said, if he comes in as like a 75 next year, he'll be on the hold for gold. If he comes in as a bronze, then he'll absolutely be on the save for silver with hold for gold upside. I think Andrew Vaughn is an absolute monster in the making. Miguel Cabrera loses 2, even though he's chasing 500 right now, which that alone does not mean he should have been upgraded or anything. I'm not saying that, but he's actually been playing a bit better, hitting for some pop of late. I was surprised that he got dumped on like this. How dare they? G-Man Choi -1, Miguel Sano nooched, Bobby Dahlbeck gets smoked, John Nagowski -1, Bradley -3, Moreland -4, and then no new first baseman. Marcus Semien continues to go up. He's just had such a great season. +1 for Segura. He's close. He's close. Power would be obviously the best avenue to get him there. If he could hit like 3-4 homers in an update period, that would be huge. But that's kind of what we're waiting for here, unless the batting average against righties just goes off. If he hits like 400 for a 2-week period or something like that, you know, we could see that. I know some people are already invested in him, and go ahead and stay invested in him. But, you know, be careful. Be careful, because a contact-heavy guy like this that doesn't have a lot of power, it can be tough. You could end up laboring through a lot of stuff and get fucking nooched. I'm not going to cry, because that's not an appropriate reaction. But I want to. Okay? I want to. I'm just kidding. I don't need to cry. I'm surprised, though, guys. I thought we had enough. You know, I put him on Diamond last time, and I knew that one was like putting it out there, okay? I was clear that, hey, this is putting it on the table, saying if he gets a big enough defensive upgrade, he could get there. This time, though, I put him down as like pretty much a lock. I really thought we were golden. So I'm surprised on this one. And I got to be honest, though, I'm not going anywhere. I'm absolutely not going anywhere. I guess he did kind of, because let's see, when did I do my list? I finished the list on Monday, which means that game. Yeah, I guess those extra 2 days kind of low. He had like an 890 OPS when I did like the update, and then it went down to 867. Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought we had it. That's all right. I'm still gonna be staying invested in the Crone Zone. I'm absolutely not going anywhere. Frazier gets nooched. I don't think Frazier's going Diamond. So I would not invest in him at all, y'all. This is like an extreme version of Segura, where he has even less power. And so I would be very careful here. I would invest in Segura and Cronenworth well over Frazier. Not just because they're 1 point higher either. Even if he was an 84 right now, I would still be nervous. Colton Wong, Jonathan Scope get -1, +1 respectively. Neither's really a diamond watch. Cesar Hernandez does have gold upside, obviously, as a 79, but he has a really low batting average, y'all. So this is a weird thing to say because he's never been a power guy. He has 20 homers. It's a career high. It all hinges on his power right now, and probably power against righties, unless he just has a random burst of batting average. How the Mighty Have Fallen Part 2. LeMahieu, just a brutal season. Merrifield loses gold. He's just been rough, man. I thought he was going to have a big summer. I really did. I recommended him in fantasy as somebody to kind of buy low on. And he has 32 steals, so I don't feel bad because anybody that bought him is still getting hella steals. But he has not done well with the bat. Odor gets nooched. Can he go gold? I guess he could, but I don't believe in him. I'm very suspect of Odor with his plate skills. He's so volatile that I'd be very careful. Flores gets nooched. Urias up 2. Arise gets 1. India. Now, this is one I thought would go silver for sure. And this update, this boost here to these 4 metrics looks like it should be enough for 3 points. But I guess, again, he was more of like a 71.5, so that even with a healthy boost across the board here, it didn't quite get him there. And that's just, that's one of those that I can't really know, because I can't go in to the roster and update it the way I used to, because the offline roster doesn't match the DD one. So you can continue to save for Silver. He's been a great player. He's very much in the Rookie of the Year candidacy, but you're not making a ton of stubs on him going Silver anyway. He's like Eric Haas. You can flip a bunch of Jonathan Indias right now, where you buy a handful and sell a handful and clear that profit, and just do that 5 at a time, and you'll make money that way. I thought one of these two, actually I had both going Silver, but I thought for sure one of them would go, and neither of them did. I thought Farmer might get a little bit more love because he had that Tops Now or Player of the Month card, but guess not. B. Millie gets +2. I mean, he's like the quintessential bronze because he's so streaky. Eli White -3, Jack Mayfield. Tyler Wade up or gets nooched. He's playing more for Glaber. He's been a steals asset if you play fantasy baseball, but that's really it. Mateo -1. Hoy Jump Park +1. Gosselin 2. Shed Long -3. Ouch. And that's it for second base. Rodolfo Castro, Berrivic Valera, and Adrian Sanchez join the game. Third base now. We got Machado, Devers, and Bryant getting nooched. Ramirez -1. Nothing really to see there. I mean, we got Bryant to gold. We got Devers to diamond. I'm not really worried about guys going to 90, so I don't care about those. Donaldson -1. Riley's trickling, y'all. He's like, when the roller coaster's like slowly going up, that's him. I had him going to 79. There's no real difference between 79 and 78. It's still not gold yet. He's still on the cusp. You're still holding him if you believe. I'm going to hold my shares. I still believe he can get there. I would love to see like a 2-week power surge, though. You see he got -7 against lefties with the power. I'd love to see just like 6 homers in a 2-week period. Then we could secure gold. How the Mighty Have Fallen Part 3. Matt Chapman down to a silver. His bat just hasn't been there. You have to wonder how much of the hip is bothering him or not, or is he just struggling, right? Because he's still playing really good defense. He's still playing every day too. So you would think if the hip was super bothering him, they would be benching him more, but they're not. So I wonder if it's just that he's having a rough season at the dish. It might just be that simple and nothing else to it. P. Wizzy goes +2. Now, if you see here, this is kind of the opposite of what we were talking about earlier. This tells me that he was like at 76.5, where he was basically a 77 already, because this is not a huge boost to get 2 points. He was on the cusp there, and he even lost contact against lefties and still got 2 points. That said, I highlight that to point out that I don't really think he's got a good shot for gold because of his contact issues. The one good thing is he's going to play the rest of the year for sure. Right, with all the trades, they have no reason not to play Wisdom for the rest of the season to see how real this little surge that he's had is. He could get to gold. I'll keep a close eye on him for sure, but I would be careful over investing. You guys know how comfortable you are with investments, right? If you want to rate it of like a lock, somebody I really believe in, somebody who's like in the realm, so they're kind of worth investing in, gamble, and then a lottery ticket, he's probably in the stadium, somebody I don't fully believe in range, where it's like he's only 2 points away, so it wouldn't take a whole lot. But is that going to come for him? And I don't know. When you have transcendent power, you can go off like that. So I can't fully rule out Wisdom, but I would be careful investing too many shares. If a lock is somebody that you invest and you get 100 shares of, then Wisdom is somebody you should get like 25 shares of. Get a quarter of your normal shares for Wisdom if you want to buy in on him. Davis and Seager get nooched. Toro gets a healthy overhaul. He's been on fire with them. I actually had Toro. What I have him? I did not have him getting a billion points like this. Yeah, I had Toro getting +4 to a 72. I didn't know if they do the overhaul, but they did. They just reworked it, giving him a lot of love for what he's been doing with Seattle, and I'm okay with that because that's the player that he's playing as right now, and he doesn't have enough of a track record that you have to just completely go off of that and be like, oh, we can't move him off of these first two samples that he had in 19 and 20 when he was shit. No, he's a prospect with real pedigree. He was playing okay with Houston toward the end of his tenure, and then he's been amazing with Seattle. All those factors say we can give him a healthy boost. Plus, he has quality defense, a little bit of speed. That's why he's already a silver. Seager, Nooch, Moncada down. Moncada, man, he just doesn't have any power. He just has no power this year. It's a bummer. Anderson -2, he loses silver. Candelario, Nooch, Franco, Biggio down, and then Bote down 2. And then Drew Ellis is a new third baseman. Shortstop time. B-Craw and Story get Nooch. I thought Story was going to go. That one was a surprise too. Man, this one really was a tough update. I got one of my 4 diamonds right. Yikes. There were only 2 new diamonds, so it's not like... and I had the other one at an 84, so... But it was tough. I thought Story was going to go. Obviously, just hold firm with him. It won't take much to get him there, clearly. Bogey -2 loses his diamond. Baez -1. Siegs -3 loses his diamond. Deserved. Here we go. Now, we've been in on this one since bronze. This is a big payoff. So I know that overall, the update is a disappointment for a lot of y'all, right? Because a lot of our guys that we wanted to go diamond didn't go, and some of the guys that we wanted to go gold didn't either. But for me, with how much I'm in on Adames, there's still some big wins here, and Adames is one of them because we got him all the way from bronze to gold in relatively short order, right? Like once they kind of acknowledged, okay, this is what he's doing with Milwaukee. He's a new player. Let's do it. Because I had him as a gold 2 updates ago, knowing that was like the Cronenworth diamond one, where it was a gamble, right? Because it was 5 points, and it required him getting a defensive upgrade, and he didn't quite get there. He got to 78. And then he just continued to tear the cover off the ball. He's just a new player with Milwaukee. He deserves gold. Polanco wasn't a lock gold. The market was already there on that one. -1 for Iglesias. Swanson only gets +1. I thought he'd get there, actually. I thought he had the juice to get to gold. I'm obviously not going anywhere with him. Remain invested in Swanson. -2 for Franco. I mean, yeah. Listen, they tried with Franco and Guerrero to bring them in as golds, and I fully respect that because these are 2 of the most transcendent prospects we've ever seen in the game, and they're like, what if they hit the ground running? Let's be prepared. And neither of them did, so they had to be downgraded, obviously. And we saw where Guerrero is now a couple years later. It might be the same for Franco. Maybe he's just like good, not great next year, and then fucking unbelievable the following year. Rojas is kind of another embarrassing one because I had him going gold, and he lost points. I don't know. I guess I didn't realize his vision and discipline were going to get downgraded. My bad. Rosario nooched. Aledmus Diaz +2. Brendan Rodgers nooched. Gregorius -3. Luis Urias +1. 2 silver. I like him too. Not as much as Adames. He's obviously not playing as well as him. But they're creating something nice over there for the left side of their infield with Adames at short and Urias at third. Simmons now a bronze. That's tough. Our boy Tyro Estrada, remember when we were invested in him 2 updates ago as a common? We were getting ready for TA3, and I was like, get a bunch of these at single-digit stubs. You can trade them in for TA3. Since then, he was a 63. He's come all the way up to a 72, and now he's actually got a little bit of silver upside, because if he keeps playing like this, I think he could get there. Escobar +4. Listen, when they signed Escobar, I laughed. I audibly laughed, and I thought it was a silly move. He's been playing well. Mea culpa. Do you, Alcides? I have no animus toward him. I just didn't think there was anything left in the tank. And to be fair, 695 OPS is not a lot in the tank, but he's playing back in the majors. Good for him. I don't begrudge anybody that can still get them checks from major league teams. Andrus -3 and Clement +4, and that does it for shortstops. Velasquez, Marincons, Robertson, Martin, and Rondon are the new shortstops. Left field time. Tyler O'Neill +2. Can he get diamond? Sure. Would I invest in him for it? No shot. The volatility, we've seen it this year, right? The ebbs and flows that he had. He was on a devastatingly bad streak before this recent uptick that got him this +2. Too scary for me. You guys can do it. I'm not going to be in it. Arozarena nooched Eloy +1. He's going to get another like +2 if he keeps doing what he's... Actually, he might get +3 or 4 next time if he keeps hitting at this pace. He'll probably smooth out a little bit, but he's on fire right now. He looks so healthy and so good. Winker nooched. -2 for Martinez off of gold. Same with Yelich. These are going to be BR gods now, too. Canheim and McCutcheon nooched. Same with Meadows. Peralta's just had a rough season. I'm surprised he's been able to even maintain silver at this point. Grossman, McCormick, Peterson get boosted, but nothing really to discuss investment-wise. Oof, these guys all get hit hard. Honestly, though, with Dickerson going to bronze, these other two, actually Upton as well, these guys are BR bench gods. All three of them crush, so there's at least that. Brett Gardner -2 and Andrew Stevenson -4. Yadiel Hernandez comes in as a 65. I'm kind of surprised they brought him in so low. He's like he's not some young up and coming prospect. He's an established guy. He played in Cuba for a bunch of years before coming over, but he has a 780 OPS with a 298 average. I thought he would get higher than a 65 off rip. He's a legit hitter. So I think they kind of did him dirty. He's like I said, he's 33 years old, excuse me. So I thought he should come in a bit higher than that, to be honest. Not the end of the world, though. It's not like we're holding on to him for silver. I just thought they did him dirty. Does he continue his streak of being upgraded every single update? I think he did. Unbelievable. What an amazing season from Ced, the entertainer. He's been incredible. Marte popping off. He's been unreal with Oakland. If you were worried about his steals in fantasy, fear not. He's a god. And then here's our two diamonds of the week. Springer, which everyone knew, and Reynolds, who was on the cusp. I had him going to an 84. He gets all the way there to 85, so good on those that had him. Grisham gets nooched. Stay bought in if you love him, because he lost a little bit of love against righties, but that's usually his strength, so he can get that back, and he can get diamond by season's end. I would definitely stay invested. Laureano -2. It's weird that the gold shield is there for 85. Obviously, he was a diamond who lost diamond down to an 83, but it's funny how that looks like that. Verdugo nooched. What an interesting update here. He kind of gets hit hard against lefties, gets a little bit of love to salvage it. And then look at this one. Y'all. Now, I was on an Adam Engel boost. I had him going +2 to 79. I didn't know he was going to get this much love. So I hope he got in now, knowing that he was a 79. And I always say, 79s are very investable, because if I'm wrong by 1, then we're golden. And he goes and he gets to 80. Well, I was wrong by 3, and he goes to a freaking 82. So he absolutely pops off here, gets major love, and boom, already gold. Pollock nooched, recent gold. Hayes +1, could go gold. Would have to hit some righties. Kane -1, Nimmo -2. Badu finally gets silver. Let's go. Very well deserved. Probably too much of a platoon split to really push gold, because he's still 4 points away. I love Badu. I think he deserves some defensive love, though, too. SDS? Take a look. At least see if he deserves some defensive love. I think he does. Brian Goodwin +2. Mercado nooched. Brett Phillips gets a hot tops now, by the way. A really, really sharp tops now, and then a +1 here. He is just really rough against lefties, like unusably rough. So I'm not even sure if he can get to silver because of these numbers. I'm not falling for it, guys. I need more. I want this to be real. I really do. I like Lewis Brinson. I know I give him a tough time because, he has like a great spring training every year and then does nothing else. I really want this to be real, but I'm still nervous because he's still swinging and missing like crazy. But he does get a nice +5 to at least kind of set the foundation for a potential silver. I would not invest, though. I'll just watch this one from the sideline. +1 for Bizim, -2 for Akiyama, +1 for Lagueris, and +4 for my boy Derek Hill from the Tigers, who's done some things. It's been kind of interesting for the Tigers, showing a little something at least. And Lolo Sanchez gets in the game as a center fielder. Finishing up in right field, -1 for Aaron Judge, +1 for Mookie Betts. Only +1 for Harpsichord. I thought he would get a little bit more than that. I mean, he got upgrades on 5 categories. Thought that might have been worth more, but again, neither here nor there. I'm not too worried about it. Cal Tucker gets nooched. That's another dick kick nooching, because that's tough. I know a lot of people I had him 84.5. I didn't quite see it. I wasn't quite there, and that's why I did the 84.5. It's not to cop out. It's to acknowledge that people are going to be very interested in this one and that he's on the cusp, but I just didn't quite see it. So that's why I didn't have him going all the way this week. All of a sudden, Avisail Garcia is at least on like the diamond watch. Now, I would stop short of saying he's destined for diamond or that you should be investing in him, just because I know his volatility all too well from when he was a Tiger and even as a White Sox. Like I followed his career the whole way. I've liked him. Get him in fantasy. He's a good player, but I just don't think he's diamond. And so unless he just goes off and gets like a player of the week and then has another good week after that, I don't think we'll see diamond this year. Duvall nooched. Cruz -2. Margot position change +2. Franmil nooched. Yeah, I told you. You cannot get me to be invested in Franmil Reyes for gold anymore. I don't care what he does. No shot. -2 for Yaz. That's tough. He was on the cusp too, and all of a sudden he kind of reset the dial. He could get to gold by the end of the year, but I would sell. I would sell if you have shares, and I do, so I will be selling. -1 for Kep. -2 for Myers. Cole Calhoun nooched, and now I believe he hit the IL again. Back to silver for Dylan Carlson. Carlson's similar to Andrew Vaughn. I've been loving watching his progression this year as he's kind of figured things out and gotten better and shown, on the fly improvement this year. I love that stuff. And Dylan Carlson's actually one of my favorite prospects in the game. I mean, I think he used his prospect eligibility this year. He's no longer a quote-unquote prospect, which means you have to be rookie eligible after this year. But he's been a lot of fun to watch. I still think there's a ton of upside in this bat long term. Hilliard gets nooched. Santander goes down, which is interesting. Let me look at him real quick. I think some of his goodness this week did not get counted in the update. That's part of it. But maybe this was also like a catch-up situation because he'd been missing time and he finally came back and they looked at it and they're like, well, he's been terrible against lefties. Let's smooth him out a little bit. Been better against righties. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually a little bit surprised on that he was hit so hard. Like the power against lefties was just crushed. I mean, he's on fire this month. Make no mistake about it. And really since the All-Star break, you look at it, he's hitting 339, 397, 625 with 4 homers. This has to be catch-up for the full season because he's on fire right now. So to lose one is a tough scene. I would reinvest right in him as a silver back in 2 weeks based on the way he's playing right now. Conforto -4 had to happen, dude. He's been awful. I think you can start cutting him in fantasy leagues too if you haven't already, in 10, 12 teamers. Maybe even some 15 teamers. It's that bad, y'all. Aquino nooched. Soler +1. Ortega +3. He's been killing it for the Cubs. Playing every day too. Hayward -2. And then Jarren Duran +1 just because of his speed. He's doing nothing at the dish. And then no new right fielders. And that's it. So again, it did not go exactly how we wanted, right? We did not get everything to come through. There is some disappointment. I fully understand that. I share in that disappointment, particularly with Cronenworth and Tyler Mahle. But we stay invested, okay? This is a game of ups and downs with investing. Patience is required. I know when you're getting excited for something and I'm telling you that it's going to come through and we're feeling really good about it, that you build up that excitement, and then when it doesn't happen, that's a crushing blow. I get that. I feel the same thing. Like I said, Cronenworth, got my shirt on, I'm ready to go diamond. Doesn't happen. Tyler Mahle, I thought was a lock. Doesn't happen. Don't get distraught. Don't just go selling everything off, losing a bunch of stubs. These are the moments where we stay calm. When everyone else is running around with their head on fire, we jump in and we buy their shares. Okay, we buy the dip. We get amped up for 2 weeks from now, where we cash in again. So hopefully you're in on Adames. A few other guys that definitely did hit. We'll get back in 2 weeks. Until then, peace.